By the way, if anyone thinks Flint, Michigan is the only city in America with a water problem, you are surely mistaken. We're looking at hundreds of communities in America with inadequate water, inadequate wastewater plants. In fact, our entire infrastructure in many parts of this country, roads, bridges, levees, dams, airports, our rail system is in massive disrepair. We can create 13 million jobs by rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure. That's what I'm talking about. This campaign is listening to the Native American community. I do not have to tell anybody here who has read 5 minutes of American history for you all to know how horribly and dishonestly our country, our government, from way back before we were a country, has related to the Native American community. They have been lied to, they have been cheated, treaties that were negotiated have been broken, and yet we owe so much to the first Americans. They have enriched our culture in ways that are unimaginable. They have taught us, more than any other people, respect for the environment and the understanding that we as a people have got to live as part of nature, not destroy nature. When we talk about the environment, I am a very proud member of the Senate Committee on the Environment, and I have talked to scientists all over our country and all over the world. And what the scientists tell us virtually unanimously, climate change is real. Climate change is caused by human activity. Climate change is already doing devastating harm in our country and around the world. And this is what they also tell us. And that is, if we do not get our act together and transform our energy system by the end of this century, this planet will be between 5 and 10 degrees warmer. And what that means, more drought, more flood, more extreme weather disturbances, more acidification of the ocean, more rising sea levels, more international conflict as peoples fight over limited natural resources. That is the future if we do not have the guts to take on the fossil fuel industry. To tell them that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. Now, I want to connect some dots here. I talked to you earlier about a corrupt campaign finance system. How does it happen that not one Republican candidate for president has stood before, and there were many of them at the start of the campaign. How come not one of them has come forward and said, well, you know, I've talked to scientists, I've read literature, we got a major crisis. The answer gets back to a corrupt campaign finance system. If any one of them were to tell you the truth about climate change, that candidate would lose his funding from the fossil fuel industry. And that is the power of money in politics. And that is why we've got to end this corrupt campaign finance system. The future of American energy is transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energies like wind, solar, geothermal. Here's the question. Let's see if anybody knows the answer. How many major countries on earth do not guarantee health care to all of their people? Now, we've got a smart guy right up here. Answer is 1, and you are living in that country. Somehow or another, United Kingdom, France, Germany, Holland, Scandinavia, Canada, every major country on earth guarantees health care to all of their people. Now, I'm a member of the committee that helped write the Affordable Care Act. It has done a lot of good. We have done away with the obscenity of pre-existing conditions. We have added 17 million people to the ranks of the insured, and we've done away with discrimination against women in healthcare. But today, we still have 29 million Americans uninsured. Any uninsured Americans here? Okay. We have millions of people who are underinsured with large deductibles and co-payments. Any of those here? Now, what that means is if you don't have much money and you have a large deductible and you get sick, what happens? You don't go to the doctor, or you got to pay it out of funds that you really don't have. And then on top of all of that, we have, as a nation, we are being ripped off every day by the greed of the drug companies. They charge us the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. 1 out of 5 Americans cannot afford to fill the prescriptions their doctors write. And yet, last year, the 3 major drug companies made $45 billion in profits. Now, I have been criticized for saying this, so I will say it again as clearly as I can. In my view, health care is a right of all people, not privilege. And in my view, we need to move toward a Medicare for all single-payer program. Now again, I know that the issue I'm going to talk about is controversial here in Idaho, but let's talk about it anyhow. We got Republicans going all over this country talking about family values, how much they love families. What they mean by family values, and I want everybody to be crystal clear about this. What they mean is that no woman in this room, in this state, in this country, should have the right to control her own body. I disagree. What they mean by family values is that our gay brothers and sisters should not have the right to get married. I disagree. Now, I shock nobody here by telling you there is a lot of hypocrisy in politics, right? We're all shocked to hear that, I know. But here is hypocrisy at the highest level. My Republican colleagues, they hate government. They want to cut Social Security, want to cut Medicare, want to cut Medicaid. I guess in this state, governor has not expanded Medicaid through the ACA. And tens of thousands of people in the state who could have health insurance do not have health insurance. They hate government. They want to get government off of your backs. Except when it comes to a woman having to make a very personal choice. I don't understand how you could talk about getting government off of our backs when you want government at the local, state, and federal level to tell every woman in America what she has to do. That's hypocrisy. Everybody here knows that real change in this country has never taken place from the top on down. It has always taken place from the bottom on up. It has taken place when millions of workers stood up and said, we're not animals, we want dignity and decent wages on the job, we're gonna form a union. It has taken place when millions of African Americans and their white allies rallied together forever. Some died, some were beaten, some went to jail, to say that in America we will not tolerate racism and bigotry and segregation. Years ago, people forget this. 100 years ago, not a long period from a historical perspective, women in America did not have the right to vote, could not get the education they wanted, could not do the jobs they wanted. 100 years ago. But what happened is women and their male allies said, you know what? In America, women will not be second-class citizens. And people fought against sexism. Now, if we were here, I want you to think about this, because this is how change takes place. If we were in this arena 10 years ago, which is no historical time at all, and somebody jumps up and says, you know, Bernie, I think that maybe by the year 2015, gay marriage will be legal in 50 states in this country. The person next to them would have said, you're nuts, what are you smoking? But that is what happened, and it happened because the gay community and their straight allies took on incredible bigotry and hatred. And what they said is that in America, people should have the right to love whoever they want, regardless of their gender. Let me give you another example, because I'm talking about how real change takes place. If we were here 6 or 7 years ago, no time at all, somebody jumps up and says, you know, Bernie, the $7.25 an hour minimum wage is a starvation wage, it's really awful, we gotta raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. But somebody next to them would have said, $15 an hour, you're talking about doubling the minimum wage, you can't do that. That's crazy. But you know what happened? People in the fast food industry, people working at McDonald's and at Burger King and Wendy's, they went out on strike. They went to the communities. And then you know what happened? Seattle, Washington, $15 an hour. San Francisco, Los Angeles, Oregon, New York, $15 an hour. So this is my point. My point is, please do not accept the status quo as something that has to go on forever. We can make change. If we have a vision of where we want this country to go, if we do not allow the Donald Trumps and the others to divide us up, if we stand together as black and white and Latino and Asian American and Native American, as gay and straight, as men and women, when we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish. See, my opponent and others think that our vision is too great. I don't believe that for a second. And that's part of the problem. That's what media is about. That's what the establishment is about, is they're telling you that these are your options, A to B, which is nothing. Our options is to create the kind of America that we know we can create. This is the greatest country in the history of the world. Don't tell me that we are the only, and have to be, the only major country on earth that doesn't guarantee paid family and medical leave to its workers. Don't tell me that we have to be the only major industrialized country that guarantee health care, that we have to have the highest rate of childhood poverty, that we have to have more income and wealth inequality, that we have to tolerate more people being in jail than any other country, that we have to tolerate sexism or institutional racism. Don't tell me that we can't solve those problems. Now this country is facing a very, very difficult and interesting political choice. Now, in my own view, one of the criticisms that is levied against me is, well, Bernie Sanders, nice guy, combs his hair really well. But he cannot win a general election. So let me just tell you that in the last major poll, national poll that I saw at NBC, Wall Street Journal, we were 18 points ahead of Donald Trump. In state after state, not only are we beating Trump badly in state polls, we're doing much better against Trump than is Hillary Clinton. I'll give you just one example that really stunned me. Polls are polls, and you always take them with a grain of salt. But just the other day, yesterday I think, in the state of Utah, one of the more conservative states in America, Bernie Sanders was beating Donald Trump by 11 points in Utah. Hillary Clinton was ahead by 2 points. We were ahead by 11 points. Now, The American people, and this is what I think the folks in Utah, very conservative state, and here in Idaho believe, and that is, we are not going to elect a president who insults people every single day. We are not, you don't know me that well, but I don't go out of my way to make vicious personal attacks against my opponents. I just don't do that. But when you talk about somebody like Donald Trump, what you have to recognize is much of what he says is simply not true. He lies a lot. And this is not just Bernie Sanders. I'm not just saying this. PolitiFact is an organization that tries to check up on the veracity of what politicians say. This is what they say. They looked at 112 statements made by Donald Trump. They rated 78% of these statements false, mostly false, or pants on fire false. Many conservative friends, we disagree. But to be conservative doesn't mean to say you're dishonest. You believe what you believe. Donald Trump is a pathological liar, and the American people will not elect Donald Trump president because he insults Mexicans, he insults Muslims, he insults women, he insults veterans, he insults the African American community. And I want you all to remember this, because this is important. Before he was running for president, Trump was leader of the so-called birther movement. And that was a very dangerous, awful movement which was trying to delegitimize the presidency of Barack Obama. You know, if it's one thing people want to disagree with Obama, that's fine. But don't tell us that he was not born in the United States and delegitimize his presidency.